All right, rejects, Mr. Bubbles here. What if I told you that Warhammer 40,000 Darktide just dropped a mode where the objective is looting with a side of impending death? Yeah, the 40k experience we've all been training for. Welcome to Expeditions. Now, the first time I dropped into this mode, I thought, okay, simple enough. Go in, grab loot, get out. A nice, controlled, totally reasonable plan. 5 minutes later, I'm sprinting through a war zone. My team is scattered across three different directions. A horde is breathing down my neck, and a servo skull is confidently leading me straight into what I can only assume is the worst decision of my life. So, yeah, great start. Expeditions throws you into these massive open scavenge zones where everything is randomized. Enemy spawns, loot, objectives, and probably your chances of survival. No two runs are the same, which is great because it means you never quite know how things are going to fall apart. You'll be scrambling for salvage, cracking open chests for tech remnants, and following servo skulls like they actually know where they're going, which they absolutely do not. I'm convinced half of them are just guessing. Like, yeah, loot's definitely this way, bro. And then boom, Plague Ogren. Thanks. Appreciate it. Now, your job? Simple. Go in, dig around in the Emperor's leftover junk drawer, and grab as many tech remnants as you can before the forces of Nurgle decide your run is over. Now, there is one small detail. There's a timer. You start with 15 minutes. And at first, it feels fine. You're like, okay, we've got time. We're chilling. We're efficient. You are none of those things. Because when that timer hits zero, your health starts gaining corruption. Slowly at first, and then faster. Then suddenly you're running around at 1 HP and you're questioning every life decision that led you to this exact moment. The worst part? You knew you should have extracted earlier. But no, just one more zone, guys. Every time. And speaking of that, let's talk about squads. Because Expedition really shows you who you're playing with. Every team has that group. You've got the speedrunner, already halfway across the map fighting for their life, pinging enemies like we're anywhere near them. You've got the loot goblin opening crates mid horde, like the rest of us aren't actively being mauled. You've got the we should extract guy standing at the evac point at minute 7, like, guys, hello? And then the optimist. Guys, we can totally hit one more zone. No, no, we cannot. That man is the reason runs end. And somehow, every group has one. Now, between these nightmare scavenger hunts, you can stop by Deadsider sanctuaries, safe zones where you can trade in salvage for gear, upgrades, and completely reasonable tools like grenades that call in artillery strikes, because nothing says subtle infiltration like leveling half the map. They'll also buy you a little breathing room. Reaching a sanctuary pauses your mission timer and even adds extra time to keep you going. And don't get me wrong, this stuff is great. Healing, ammo refills, big explosions, all very useful. But I do wish they leaned a bit harder into the roguelike side of things. Give me upgrades like increased max health, toughness resistance, weird modifiers, something that makes each run feel more unique beyond just, I would like to survive slightly longer. Because right now, it's good, but it could be great. Now, here's where Expeditions really shines the tension. Because this mode weaponizes your greed. You always have a choice. You can extract whenever you want, call in a Valkyrie, leave clean, secure your loot. Or you can stay longer, push deeper, get greedier, and risk everything. And there's always that voice in your head saying, yeah, but we could use a little more salvage, maybe some more tech remnants. That voice, that's the reason you lose every single time. And the game knows it. At one point, my squad and I were feeling pretty good. About 3 minutes left, heading toward extraction, pockets full of tech remnants. Clearly, we were too confident. Out of nowhere, a captain shows up and decides we're not leaving. Not ideal. And just to make things worse, he brought a packmaster along for emotional support, which, honestly, rude. Long story short, we did not make that extraction. But honestly, that's what makes this mode so good. Those moments where everything falls apart in the last few minutes are where expeditions really thrives. Now, that said, it's not perfect. For starters, playing with randoms can be absolute chaos, and not the fun kind. You've got one player chasing a servo skull like it owes them money, another is across the map fighting an entire army solo, and someone else is just gone. We don't know where they went. We may never know, and sure, there's voice chat, but let's be real, most people treat that like it's haunted. So, yeah, this mode is way better with friends, or at the very least, people who can agree on a direction for more than 12 seconds. Another issue, and this one's a bit more frustrating, you are limited in how many scavenging zones you can do. You only get 3 scavenging runs before you're locked out. And honestly, I don't see the need for this restriction. Because this is the kind of mode where you finally get into a groove, you've got a good team, good momentum, you're actually making smart decisions for once, and then the game limits your potential. And it's like, why? We're already racing the clock. If we're doing well, just let us keep the momentum going. Hopefully, that's something they revisit because it does hold this mode back a bit. I also noticed that after a few runs, you start to recognize patterns. Not enough to ruin the experience, but enough that the randomness starts to feel a little familiar. Again, not a deal breaker, but definitely something that could be improved with more variety over time. That said, when this mode hits, it really hits. It's chaotic, it's intense, and it feels completely different from the standard mission structure. It's also a refreshing change of pace to be out in these wider environments instead of constantly fighting through tight Hive City corridors. Getting to see more of the world outside that setting is a huge plus, and I really hope they expand on that. Because the potential here, it's massive. Imagine more zones, more modifiers, crazier upgrades, higher risk, higher reward runs. This could easily become the end game loop if they keep building on it. But even right now, Expeditions is just straight up fun. It adds tension, it adds variety, and it gives you a reason to come back and run it again. So, yeah, if you haven't tried it yet, jump into Darktide, queue up Expeditions, and maybe bring some friends. Trust me, your sanity will thank you. And remember, if your teammate says, just one more zone, just think about it twice before committing. All right, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. It really does help the channel out, and it lets me know you want to see more content like this. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one.